and ladies and gentlemen, and everybody sitting on the podium, Assalamu alaikum. Well, first I want to pay tribute to Mr. Shahryar Afridi, who's given new energy to the Kashmir Committee, and he has a very elaborate agenda for the committee, for his committee, which is bipartisan and bicameral, and he represents the will of the entire parliament, both the houses. So this is one significant development that has taken place in the recent past. And as he was outlining his agenda, it is multidimensional. It is very reassuring that he would work with all stakeholders to craft a policy that would be effective and efficacious. When we met after he assumed the office of the chairman of the parliamentary committee, he said that his first observation was that on Kashmir people were working in silos, although they were working very efficiently and outperforming each other, but there was no synergy, that he would be the catalyst for that synergy and his committee would be the catalyst for that synergy. So thank you so much for creating that synergy. Second, all of you who are sitting here today with smiling faces, all of you are healthy and all of you are safe from COVID-19 pandemic. Let me take you to the Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Life is different there. If you want to imagine the Indian-occupied territory, you'll have to think of Hungary during the Second World War, Poland during the Second World War, the Balkans in the 1990s, Palestine throughout these years, because in the Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and genocide are being committed. And I do not want to go into details, but I just want to delineate the picture of the Kashmir that we're talking about. It is a land where people have been deprived of all their rights. Their right to life, their right to education, to health, their life for survival. Their land is being snatched from them, and Indians are changing the nation, which would be euphemistically called changing demographic composition. But when you talk about changing demographic composition, what it really means, that millions of Hindus from all over India are being imported and implanted in the land of the people of Jammu and Kashmir, and the people of Jammu and Kashmir are being marginalized. Every day, the people of Jammu and Kashmir are being killed, maimed, blinded, tortured, incarcerated, forcibly disappeared, and their women are being dishonored and raped. This is what is happening there. Imagine such monstrosities take place in Karachi or Lahore or Peshawar or Islamabad or Quetta or Muzaffarabad or Gilgit. What would be your feelings? And if in our own cities, in our own homeland, if there was an invasion of 900,000 soldiers who did not believe in any law and that they will brutalize you, what would be your reaction? I am giving you these graphic details because when we talk about Kashmir, we think that it's a distant land. That yes, we have a claim over the territory and our destinies are tied with the people of Jammu and Kashmir, but they are distant. They are not distant. The point that I want to make is that these people are part of your body politic. That these people are you, as a matter of fact. There is no distinction between the people of Jammu and Kashmir and Pakistan. And let me tell you, if you go back to history, 1947. In 1947, the people of Jammu and Kashmir decided en masse that they would be part of Pakistan. And that political will of the people was obstructed by Lord Mountbatten, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and later on by the international community. And the people of Jammu and Kashmir are being massacred because of their desire and aspiration to be part of Pakistan. There is no other sin that they have committed. This point needs to be understood. Second, last year on August the 5th, when Indian forces invaded the territory of Jammu and Kashmir, its occupied part, it was and is an act of war against Pakistan. Let me also tell you that the people of Jammu and Kashmir, whether they are in Azad Kashmir or in the occupied part, they are grateful to the state of Pakistan, to the government of Pakistan, for a series of measures that they have taken in this past 460 days. Under very difficult circumstances, we realize that. We understand the dynamics of international politics. We know the constraints under which we are operating. It was not easy to take the issue of Jammu and Kashmir back to the Security Council after a passage or after a lapse of 50 years. It was not easy to galvanize public opinion at the United Nations General Assembly. It was not easy to assemble 30,000 demonstrators outside the General Assembly Hall last September. It was not easy to convince the High Commissioner for Human Rights and Human Rights Council to come up with their pronouncements and declarations on Jammu and Kashmir. It wasn't easy. And as a result of these efforts, and as a result of the world's awakening to the atrocities in the Indian occupied Kashmir and India's policy of Lebensraum and foreign occupation, the international public opinion has turned against India. India is being called out all over the world, and this did not happen, or this was not happening before August the 5th last year at that scale. So what I want to say is that you have succeeded quite a bit, but people continue to broadcast a narrative of failure ad nauseum, as if nothing has happened. And when you talk about failure at every level, Indians applaud and they congratulate themselves. They congratulate themselves that they have nothing to worry about because the entire nation of Pakistan is divided. Self-criticism and self-scrutiny is good, but Indians are afraid of you. Mind you, they buy these weapons from all over the world, from France, from Russian Federation, from the United Kingdom, from the United States. And they say that they have threat from China. But their entire force orientation, the direction of their missiles and weaponry is towards Pakistan, because they consider Pakistan to be the most potent threat to their statehood. So you should also exude that confidence that, yes, India, you committing crimes, we will take on India and we will pulverize you. We will defeat you. That is the kind of aspiration and determination that you should have as a nation. When I was saying that we've done well in the recent past, in the past 460 days, let me add that we haven't reached our destination. We have to move forward. We have to move forward to make our policies more effective, because despite all our efforts, the mission is not accomplished. Killings have not come to an end. The land grab goes on. Incarcerations happen every day. Mothers cry in their homes. Fathers do not know how to protect the honor of their vulnerable daughters. So we haven't succeeded until we succeed. And the measure of success would be the liberation of the Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir from the tyranny and terrorism of the fascist government of India. Let this be clear in our minds. I would also talk about international response. It has been lukewarm. It has been laced with what you would call profiteering, strategic interests, economic interests tied with India. So yes, we were able to take the issue of Jammu and Kashmir to the United Nations Security Council. And the former Attorney General was talking about Chapter 6 and Chapter 7 of the Charter of the United Nations,